or funny.
You've been around a ton of well, first of all, you're an entrepreneur yourself. Your dad was an entrepreneur, your grandfather. You've been around a ton of entrepreneurs. So lots of business owners. What advice would you give an executive right now today that's thinking about stepping away from that cushy W-2 job and starting their own business? What are some things you'd tell that person?
If they really have a drive that they've always wanted to own a business and they've been thinking about it but haven't really done anything about it, that guy, I would say start sooner than later. I wish I would have done this a decade sooner. I wish I would have come back from the foundry experience and figured out how to start a business right out of the gate. So the first couple of years are always going to be hard, but once you get beyond, what I call business maturity, where the business stabilizes and you can kind of understand how things roll, there's nothing like it. There's absolutely nothing like it. From, self-confidence and cash flow and the ability to support your family. It is the absolute best.
Now, do you believe they have to go all in? Do you encourage people to say, hey, push all your chips to the table, cash in your 401k, mortgage your house, do whatever you have to do? Or do you believe in, maybe you start something on the side? What's your philosophy there?
That is a very interesting question. Last week, I had a conversation with a guy that now I'm going to talk to again next week, because as part of my process, people fill out a questionnaire and give me some information so that we can talk about it. And this guy, very successful sales career, had a little bit of bump with real estate. He owned a couple of rental properties in the financial meltdown in 2008 to 2010 timeframe, and ended up giving those back, right? So he's rebuilding his net worth and cash position, et cetera. But he's motivated. This is what I want to do. I've always wanted to do it. Find me the right thing and I'm going to do it. Okay. And I had a conversation with him. I said, you're too light. I need you to recognize for something that you could be successful in, this is all in. And are you okay with that? Oh yeah. Is your wife okay with it? She's fine. She'll do whatever I tell her. Right? Okay. I don't believe it, or whatever. But I'm not comfortable with helping people that are all in, right? Like you have to push and push. So I said, I'll introduce you to the franchise finance folks. You go through their program and they'll determine for us both what's a reasonable investment for you. What's something you can do without getting too far over your skis. Cause I'm not a big fan.
Do you try to meet with the spouse or the partner of your target client? I mean, do you try to say, hey, listen, I want to talk to your husband, or I want to talk to, do you try to get them in the living room and like, hey, let's just have a real conversation here. I need to know that you're on board.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It doesn't always happen. Sometimes they're not interested, but if the wife is not on board, if the spouse, it doesn't matter. I talk to as many women as I do men.
Yeah.
If the spouse is not supportive, they're not going to be supportive 12 months into owning the business.
That's right.
It's going to be really challenging. So that's so important. The other thing that you made me think of is, this happens more frequently. I want to go into business with my friend that I know from work, right? We've known each other. We've worked side by side for 14 years. We're going to be business partners. And the very first thing that I say is, that's fine. Partnerships create complexity. So let's just understand what that looks like. But one thing I want you to be super clear about is you're going into business with his wife, and
that's right.
He's going into business with your wife. That's you right. have a 4-way partnership, whether you believe it or not.
That's correct.
So, and then I talk about people are funny about money, right? So now you've got 4 people that might get weird about, we lost money for 6 months or 9 months. That was the plan. Well, some people aren't comfortable losing money for almost a whole year, right? As part of the plan. So it's harder to get put together when there's that many cooks in the kitchen.
And by the way, on that topic, I really encourage people, make sure your operating agreement, make sure all your ducks are in a row, setting up the business properly, especially with a partner or whatever. It's actually when the company starts making money that things can get messy. The Riderflex Nation podcast can be heard just about anywhere these days. But you can visit Riderflex.com and click on our podcast page to hear all the previous episodes and learn more about the recruiting and consulting services we provide. Contact us at the email address info@riderflex.com or 888-964-5876. Thanks so much for listening and have a great day.